our parents, they want कि मैं ये नहीं कर पाया, मेरा बच्चा ये करे. अरे क्यों करेगा?
Okay, I failed once in class 12.
See, go have fun, go to the parties, go on the beach, go on the mountains, it's all okay. But जो मेरा एक गोल है, मुझे उससे हटना नहीं.
So how to build this confidence?
Think students think कि मैं पहले ग्रामर पढ़ लूँ, मैं ये सारे टॉपिक्स ख़त्म कर लूँ, आज टेंसेस कर लिया, आज मोडल्स कर लिया, ये कर लिया, उसके बाद मैं इसको यूज़ करूँगा. ऐसे कभी नहीं हो पाएगा.
How to develop this exact personality कि लोग हमें सदियों तक याद रखें कि हाँ कोई इंसान था जिससे हम मुलाकात किए और वो हमारे दिल में बस गया वो इंसान.
इतना अपने आप को परेशान मत करो कि आप जो कर रहे हो वो रहे ही ना कहीं पे भी.
I was very complexed and confused between personality development and grooming. So I was, just trying to find someone who could guide me and help me for this part. Because I'm also a personality development coach, but especially I get criticism about my grooming. So today I have a very special guest, a cute and pretty and beautiful, very mindful, insightful guest in my house, in the podcast studio, Isha Grewal ma'am, who is an IELTS trainer, personality development coach, and soft skills trainer. And I feel very honored, very jubilant, and excited, and exactly, interested to sit with her today. So first of all, I welcome you with open heart.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. And all those words that you have said, I would like to just give them all back to you. It's all my honor that I am present here with somebody who has worked with so many amazing individuals who are doing something maybe for the growth of the humanity overall. And you are also doing the same thing, I think so. We are putting an effort how we can be, make a change. We can bring a change in the community together. So I am jubilant and honored to be a part, and being in the house, I am quite happy.
Thank you so much. Right.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. It's really very exciting because, I get so much excited, so happy exactly because when I meet people like I am, when I meet people, the same department I carry, all right, because I carry also the soft skills department, happiness institute, right? So this conversation or this, podcast is going to be amazing. Before we start or before we move to the podcast, I want that you just give dedicate 2 line songs to this podcast.
To this podcast, okay, that is going to be something I need to think of. But yeah, I can surely sing 2 songs. As I am somebody who is a Punjabi, I would love to go for a...
Please go ahead, yes.
Okay. It's a B-Prag song, which is Man Parya, and I like that song very much, so I'll sing that for the podcast. Ve mein to tera man parya, मन परिया बदल गया सारा वे तू मैनू छड़ जाना गल्लां तेरिया तो लगदा है यारा वे मैं तू तेरा मन परिया.
Amazing. Wow. So I want to dedicate one song to you as well, right?
Yeah.
So because I do try, मैं बारिश की बोली समझता नहीं था हवाओं से ऐसे उलझता नहीं था मैं क्या करूं. I don't know the lyrics exactly. मैं क्या करूं.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much. All right. So why I just made Isha ma'am sing a song, because it's the best way to test somebody's personality. Because when you are ready for each and everything, like, okay, I have, not that good vocal, but I'm ready to do it, right?
Yeah.
So that's a way to define a great personality. So she has proved that she has developed a personality. And now, I would like to just come straight forward to the questions related to personality development, grooming and all. What is the definition of personality development? I want to understand.
Oh, that's a very tricky question you have started with. But I would want to say that the definition of personality differs from person to person. Okay. Every person has his or her own definition of personality that he or she carries within. For me, I think personality is what impact you are giving on people, the person you are meeting.
Right.
That is my definition of personality. I meet various people every day, various students I deal with, you for that matter. We meet different people. But what impact my personality or my persona or my individuality is having on that person, I think that is what my personality is. somebody who is able to be, build that tempo with the person, whosoever you are meeting with, and you lay an impact. The person always remembers you
Right.
in a good way.
Right.
That is something.
Coming to the next question related to this, what you have said, like it differs from person to person. All right. And you also highlighted one more point that when you meet someone, what the impact you give. So what impact do you give and how could we develop a great and impactful impact when we meet someone?
That actually, see, I would first, from the very basics, I'm going to start with the way you dress up, the way you look. Because people, generally, I have seen people saying that, no, dressing sense doesn't matter, dress sense doesn't matter, how you look doesn't matter. I disagree with that fact. How you look, how you dress up, it matters a lot, because that is the first impact you're going to have on someone. And the first impact may not be the last impact, but it is definitely going to be a lasting impact.
Exactly.
So yeah, the way you dress up is one thing, and then the way you talk, the way you are, your body language is, the way you are meeting that person, the way you are talking, what kind of words you are using, all that is, I think, the first impression to have an impact on the person who has met you.
So here I want to praise and I want to compliment one thing, that you look very beautiful in this dress. So this dressing sense is amazing. And so what is your exact, motto behind this dressing sense, and how would you like to encourage people to have a sense of dress up? How could we just, adopt it?
Yeah, I'll start with my own thought process, how I decide. Earlier, the previous night when I was deciding, okay, what am I going to wear? So it was very clear in my mind that I'm going to address people. I'm going to be at a podcast where we are going to talk about students, their well-being, and how we are going to bring them forward.
Right.
So the Indian attire, Indian outfit came to my mind. That was the first thing that I got in my mind. So I decided I'm going to dress up like that. And if I am going to meet a bunch of friends of mine, we are going to go for a party or something, I'm going to get a dress that will suit for the occasion.
Exactly.
So I think, people make it, a point of discussion that no, you should not wear like this. Girls are not allowed to wear like this. I have a different mind for that. I think wherever you are going, what people you are presenting, and where your appearance is going to be, podcasted, or you're going to be shown. According to that, you should decide what dress are you going to wear.
Right. So it's all about that, if you're going to a secret party where you are going to live your personal life,
Yeah,
you can have your own
we have our own choice, whatever we want to wear.
Right.
Nobody is judging.
Nobody is there.
Yeah, but especially like in college you are coming, you should know that what kind of dress you are wearing. That is important. Yeah.
Okay, so now there is one more question that I've asked to so many people that who have come to the podcast, like, especially when we dress up, right? Many girls are there that who avoid this making up sense, right? Which means like, some girls are there who just, put so much eyeliners, mascaras, lipstick, and all cream. And there are so many girls who don't believe in all these things. And there are so many girls like who are very sophisticated, very light. So I want to understand what is the right sense of makeup?
Okay. I might not be a very good person to answer that, but as far as I have known and what I have understood, I think not the outer makeup is important. I think what diet you are having, how much exercise you are doing, what is on the inside, that is the actual makeup that you have. And if you are having a good diet, you are drinking plenty of water, you are doing the kind of exercise which is required, I think makeup is not going to be required on your face. You will have an automatic glow on it. And if you think you are already beautiful, and in order to enhance like a few features, you're going to wear an eyeliner, you're going to wear some kajal, it's absolutely okay.
It's absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to highlight some basic features on your face, for that you are going to look good, that is absolutely fine. I also do light makeup, not that heavy one, but when it is required and what I think suits on my face and my personality.
That's a fantastic.
So to enhance something, if you are putting on makeup, it's absolutely okay.
Okay, so that's a fantastic answer. Okay, so we are into this personality development. So personality is all about person ki quality, right? When we develop the qualities of as a person. So there are so many people who have a shy nature, right? Sometimes it is said that shy nature is important. That shy is the beauty of a human being. But like sometimes we shy professionally. Like we are doing podcasts. Like if I shy to ask question, or if you shy to answer me, then this podcast is gonna be blunder. But some at the moment, like when any girls or daughter's father come and he says that तुम्हारी शादी लगा दिया हम, तो थोड़ा सा चलो शर्मा गए, तो वो बात अलग है ना, कि उसमें चलो शर्मा लिया थोड़ा सा. बट आई वांट टू से कि प्रोफेशनली जो लोग शाई करते हैं, हाउ टू अवॉइड इट, हाउ टू ओवरकम इट, एंड हाउ टू मास्टर आवरसेल्व्स इन दैट सिनेरियो.
Yeah, the two kind of shies that we talked about are absolutely different. They are on the two corners, I think. Professionally talking, if a person is shy, I think I would relate it more to being somebody who is less confident. If you are good with whatever you do, I think there is no scope of being shy.
Right.
Also, if you have exposure, for example, there is a person A who is very shy of representing the public, maybe talking to people. That means the person himself or herself is not that confident about what he knows,
Right.
what people are going to ask. If you're not good with asking your questions, definitely you're going to be shy.
Right.
Definitely you're going to be less confident. And if I am not going to be good at answering the questions, I will be shy.
Right.
Also, then there are some kinds of people who are shy with their entire personality. That happens why? Because they haven't gotten that much of exposure that was required for them.
Right.
So if you are meeting new people, going out of your house, getting ready, going out there and talking to people, automatically you are going to fix that problem of shyness.
Okay.
Yeah. When you said that a person, the father says, okay, तुम्हारे लिए लड़का ढूंढ ले, that is going to be a different concept of shyness. At the और people की वहाँ पे भी नहीं शर्माते, हाँ ठीक है ढूंढ ले,
मैं ready हूँ. All right, I'm ready. Okay, that's an interesting thing. Like, so I think you have told that lack of knowledge or lack of skill makes us shy or feel shy,
less confident.
less confident, right? Okay, that's fine. So how to build this confidence? All right, how to be more confident?
Okay, first of all, as I started with, look good. That automatically brings, I would not say 50%, but 10 to 20% of your confidence on track. That is very important. Look good, dress nicely. Second thing, whatever you do, whatever you're going to do, you should have your command over it. If you're not good with it, I don't think so you'll be able to achieve what kind of confidence you want to have. Third thing would be speak well. Okay, speak well. There are people who know a lot. They have so many things in their mind going on, but they are not able to bring it out. They don't know how to communicate that.
Fact.
So speak well is the third thing I would want to have it. And then bring all these things on the platter and come out with it.
Great.
Don't just, be on the backside. I have so many examples in my own classes. I meet so many students every day. They are so good. They have so much knowledge, great technical skills, great interpersonal skills, but they don't have their command on it. So they lack opportunity. We are the ones who give them opportunity. Like today I am here. I want somebody else to be here on the same sofa, same chair and addressing the public. So opportunity is something that should be given to people, and the most important part is the person should be ready for that opportunity.
Right.
So look good, be good with what you do and speak well, and then come out with all of it.
Coming to the third point, actually, you have highlighted speak well, right? So when I was also at my initial phase or beginning, I was not able to speak well because when I used to go somewhere, I used to fumble. I used to shy a lot. So I felt very embarrassed or very humiliated. Unfortunately, I'm a coach for this speaking, right? So now I want to understand that how to learn this speaking well, technique. How to learn this? कैसे सीखा जाए?
Most of the people, मुझे नहीं लगता कोई इस बात को believe करेगा. I am somebody who is a very big introvert. I don't like talking to people very much. I like talking and speaking when it is required.
Right.
I don't make friends very easily. And सच में मैं आपको बहुत सच बात बता रही हूँ. जो लोग मुझे दूर से देखते हैं सोचते हैं बहुत attitude है. बात ही नहीं करते हैं किसी से. They think like that about me. But when it comes to speaking, I think practice makes a man perfect. So one thing you should know, okay, ये मेरा problem है, मुझे fumbling में दिक्कत है, I'm gonna practice it as much as you can and with a proper person who is guiding that person. Very important. Second thing, अच्छा मेरे grammatical errors हैं, मेरी English में grammatical errors होते हैं, I'm gonna practice that. I'm gonna pick up some skills, what are required, I'm gonna practice that.
Right.
Then comes your practice. Utilizing all of these things and then practicing as much as you can. अब अगर आपने एक दिन डिसाइड कर लिया कि नहीं मुझे हर दिन एटलीस्ट 10 से 15 मिनट मिरर स्पीकिंग करना है या फिर मुझे जूम कॉल ऑन करना है, वीडियो कॉल करना है, एंड आई हैव टू स्पीक ऑन माय ओन, बट अगले दिन यू हैव फॉरगॉटन इट, the day after that you have again forgotten it, so that is not going to bring an impact, that is not going to bring a change. So you have to practice till the time you don't excel in it. I would want to just to share something. When I was very small, I had no idea how to speak in English. I was not a good speaker. But I would thank my father over here. He was the one who actually told me what is the importance of speaking well.
Wow.
So he has been the building block behind all of what I am today. So he guided me, and every day after dinner, we used to have like half an hour session.
Okay.
So he used to, before going to the office, he would give me a topic. कि, Isha, this is the story, पढ़ के रखियो रात में. And after dinner, I'm going to come. और पता है, starting में मुझे डर लगता था, हे भगवान, फिर वही होगा. I don't want to do it. But later I realized कि भाई, मतलब it was something which is very important. And not only me, I have guided the same thing to my students, and they come and tell me, ma'am, I have improved a lot. So वो 10 मिनट आधा घंटा जो हम बात करते थे ना इंग्लिश में, that is what has made me what I am.
And now you have just highlighted English, and you have talked about the story behind your English and your improvement, how to speak well, right? This English is a big confusion, big doubt, right? And it traps the minds because many people are poor in English, and they're not poor because they are actually poor in English, because their thoughts are poor in English.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
You agree with that? I think many people, they know English. Sir, I can't speak English, and they are saying this sentence in English.
In English only. Yeah, बिल्कुल, it
It is the
happens.
fact,
Yes, yes.
मतलब I don't understand.
कि भाई तुमने बोला तो अभी क्या बोला? You spoke in English only, but आपको पता ही नहीं है कि मुझे इंग्लिश आती है, क्योंकि उसको सेल्फ डाउट बहुत ज्यादा है. उसको लगता है कि है मुझे, बट आ रही होती है.
आपने भी देखा होगा ये
बहुत ज्यादा. हर दिन ये चीज आती है मेरे सामने. When students come walk up to me, मैम कल इंटरव्यू, अभी भी just before having this podcast I was talking to a student of mine. She has her interview scheduled. She wants to meet me and I couldn't find time for her, but I know she is a very good speaker, but उसको doubt है, self doubt कि मैम मेरा इंटरव्यू है, how am I gonna do it?
right.
So अब यहाँ पे काम आता है motivation. A person who is better than you and the person who you trust on, very important. And that person, if he or she is motivated कि नहीं तुमसे हो जाएगा, don't worry, just go and grab the opportunity. So वहाँ पे motivation और उस बंदे का अपना effort कि वो कितना काम कर रहा है उस पे, that matters.
That matters, and that's a very important thing because I have also experienced it. Like when I was giving training for the IES interview, right? So the same person, said that, sir, I have failed 2 times. I cannot crack it. So I said, no, you can crack it. Just trust yourself. I'm just guiding you in the right way. And I give 2 selections in UPSC. So that's a very fortunate thing, and
that's amazing. Kudos to you, sir. You are making headlines. That's
thank
good.
you so much. So, but not in this examination, in this interview final list, like in the previous one, in the last one. So now I'm coming to this direct straightforward question or straightforward point that about English language, right? So many people are there who want to speak English, but they don't have the right way to speak English. So what do? They purchase a Rapidex, of 75 rupees and they practice English, right? Otherwise, what do? Like they just watch some commentary, some movies and all. They start listening to songs. But there are a lot of confusion. And one more thing is there that I am very much concerned about it, and I sometimes also criticize it. Like when they go to the trainers and mentors to learn English, so what do they teach? Sheila khana pakati hai, Sheila khana nahi pakati hai kya? Sheila khana pakati hai, and just translate this into English. Like,
Yeah, that is most of the Indian students over here, especially from this belt,
Yes.
are facing the same issue.
Same issue.
Yeah, I agree with you. कुछ दिन पहले की बात है. There was this student I was interviewing, not very good with English. He has spent a lot of time on his education.
Exactly.
He's holding a bachelor's degree, completing his master's degree, but answer नहीं दे पा रहा है. तो I told him कि भाई क्या दिक्कत है, क्या प्रॉब्लम? मैम हमने कोर्स खरीद लिया है, हम कोर्स कर कोर्स से क्या होगा?
Exactly.
What is going to happen? मैम बेसिक से स्टार्ट की, ग्रामर. मैंने कहा तुम हिंदी बोल रहे हो, तुमने हिंदी व्याकरण से स्टार्ट की थी? Did you study Vyakaran before speaking in Hindi? How did you get that? Now, if you want to learn how to swim, you need to dive into the water and try it. And you're going to learn how to swim. The same way is with English. If you don't know how to speak in English, just try to speak.
Right.
Then you try to speak. When you start speaking, add at least 10 sentences every day. I'm talking about the very beginner student who doesn't know how to speak. Right. If you're adding 10 sentences in your everyday life, speaking in Hindi, in English, that is going to bring a difference.
Right.
And the way how to start is start thinking in English. Whatever you are thinking, build your thoughts in English. Then you are going to come up with speaking, because your mind and tongue should be in sequence. They should be connected. जी यहाँ कुछ और चल रहा होता है और हम बोलते कुछ और है, और फिर कहते हैं कि मैम हमसे ट्रांसलेट नहीं होता, क्योंकि भाई आप सोच गलत रहे हो. और फिर अगर आप गलत बोलोगे, गलत सोचोगे, तो आएगा भी गलत आएगा. तो मुझे लगता है कि आपको स्टार्ट करना चाहिए थिंकिंग इन इंग्लिश, एंड देन ऐड एटलीस्ट 10 to 15 sentences every day. And for your vocabulary, take 5 words, any 5 words, and उसको पढ़ लो, उसके मीनिंग समझ लो, learn about their antonyms and synonyms, and then use those 5 words. The problem with our students is they learn 5 words, they read them, but अगले दिन उन्हें पता ही नहीं होता कि वो कल कौन सा वर्ड था जो पढ़ा था. So हमें उसे यूज करना बहुत जरूरी है. So in your language, if you are using the words, it is going to make a difference.
Absolutely. Fantastic answer and fantastic tips you have given. Actually, there is one more thing, like, when just, it comes to English language, right? So what do they think? Like, first of all, we will learn each and everything. We will learn this grammar, this ASS, part of speeches, vocabs. When we strengthen it or empower it, we will start speaking. We will start speaking later on.
ये एक बहुत बड़ा
बहुत
problem.
बड़ा.
I completely agree with you on this because people think, students think कि मैं पहले ग्रामर पढ़ लूँ, मैं ये सारे टॉपिक्स खत्म कर लूँ, आज टेंसेस कर लिया, आज मोडल्स कर लिया, ये कर लिया, उसके बाद मैं इसको यूज करूंगा. ऐसे कभी नहीं हो पाएगा. कभी नहीं हो पाएगा. ग्रामर इज हेल्पफुल फॉर यू टू बिकम अ गुड राइटर,
Right.
to solve exams, to go for competitive exams, but in order to speak in English, अभी इन बच्चों का ना हम टिकट करा के इनको अमेरिका भेज देते हैं. अब जब ये वहां से वापस आए कि इंग्लिश बोल रहे हो,
We बोल रहे हो.
क्योंकि वहाँ ऑप्शन नहीं है, आपको हिंदी नहीं बोलनी, यू विल हैव टू टॉक इन इंग्लिश.
Fact.
तो इधर उधर करते कराते यू आर गोना लर्न.
Right.
वही चीज अगर आप यहाँ रह के कर लो तो you'll automatically learn how to speak in English.
Absolutely. Factor your approach. So environment, atmosphere affects,
Yeah,
and especially mindset.
absolutely.
And then the practice,
Yes,
because the practice makes a man perfect.
perfect. Absolutely.
How did you practice apart from your father's instruction?
Okay. I have been a fortunate person to be in the same field.
Okay.
So, having approximately 5 to 6 hours of English lectures every day,
Oh.
I have been into this profession for the last approximately like 7 to 8 years. तो मुझे नहीं याद है कि कोई भी दिन ऐसा हुआ हो जहाँ मैंने इंग्लिश नहीं बोली हो. I have been into English for the last many years and I speak on a regular basis. And the problem with me is I don't stop. कि चलो 6 lectures हो गए, नहीं, ये काफ़ी नहीं है. अभी अगर कहीं और से भी मिल रहा है कि there are some students who need help. Can you do that? For sure, I'm gonna do help. I'll help them. So being in practice, staying in touch of the language is something that has made me excel in it.
Absolutely.
तो सिर्फ उतना काफी नहीं होता है. And I work on myself. It's not that I have stopped working. It's not that I don't go for vocabulary every day. Even if I'm going through an Insta article and I don't find a word, what is the meaning of it? I find it. I know the meaning of it and I try to use it. और बहुत rarely होता है कि मुझे वो word याद रहे because there are so many of
So
words.
many of us.
But जितना आप उसे use करोगे,
Hmm.
it is going to bring an impact.
Are there few words which is actually very, favorite kind of touchy word that you use in your life or you
Touchy?
carry?
Favorite I have, a few of them I have. Like demeanor is one word I really like. Cognizant is one word I really like. Assertiveness is one word I really
You have to
like.
tell with the meaning as well.
I have to tell them with the. Now you should have told me. I would have come prepared with the script. Okay, but
We have no script, by the way.
okay. So the word cognizant, I think it means that you are aware of something. So if I use it in my language, it will be I am cognizant about the things that have been happening around the world. So means being aware.
Okay.
So it's a verb. We'll use it as a verb. Cognizant means being aware. Demeanor is the overall personality that you carry. It is a noun. You address a person with that word.
Right.
For example, the demeanor of that lecturer, I really liked it. I want to be like that. Sophisticated, we all use it. So it is an adjective. So somebody who knows how to talk, how to, carry themselves. And not only in terms of looks, but also in terms of language, the way you are speaking, that is sophisticated. Not recalling of other words right now.
Yeah, okay, fine. These 3 words are actually, enough for us.
I would want to ask the people who are watching to use these words also.
Exactly.
So अगर देख रहे हैं video तो please you have to use these words.
Use these 3 words, right? Important and cute words, actually. Important word.
Important word.
Important words. Now let's just highlight one more thing. Like I have also been observing or just listening to this statement that if you don't know English, your personality is not that much remarkable or dynamic, magnetic, right? So how do you just connect this personality and English? Is there any connection, link, or they're different?
No, I think they're absolutely different. There is no connection with personality and English. Knowing good English, knowing how to speak in English may enhance your personality. It is an add-on. But I would not say it is going to define your personality, Sans. So if there is somebody who is very good with Hindi and carries an amazing, I would remove the barrier of language. If there is somebody who is a deaf and a dumb, still the person can carry an amazing personality. That is in languages don't play any role over there, but they are definitely going to enhance what personality you have. So personality तो definitely आपके traits से बनती है. आप कैसे इंसान हैं, आप kind हैं कि नहीं, आप helpful हैं कि नहीं, आप बात समझते हैं दूसरों की कि नहीं, आप अपनी बात कैसे रखते हैं. तो यहाँ पे language आती है. पर्सनालिटी अलग चीज़ है। और इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग के लिए मुझे लगता है कि आपकी पर्सनालिटी पे काम करना इज़ डिफ़िकल्ट एज़ कम्पेयर टू इंग्लिश पे काम करना।
दैट इज राइट।
सो इंग्लिश आप ट्यूटर्स ले लें, आप जॉइन कर लें कोर्सेज, आप बोलना शुरू कर दें, यू कैन इम्प्रूव दैट। बट कोई पर्सनालिटी सुधार पाए, आई वुड से दैट इज़ एन एक्चुअल टीचर एंड अ मेंटर।
And I'm very much impressed, I'm very much calm after listening to this, this thing exactly. So now I want to understand कि how to develop this exact personality कि लोग हमें सदियों तक याद रखें कि हाँ कोई इंसान था जिससे हम मुलाकात किए और वो हमारे दिल में बस गया वही इंसान।
बहुत मुश्किल है इसका आंसर एक्चुअल में दे पाना, बट मैं कोशिश करूंगी कि जितना भी मुझे इस उम्र तक समझ है मैं बता पाऊँ लोगों को। मुझे लगता है कि एक इंसान जिसको दुनिया में याद रखे, आगे भी याद रखे, आई थिंक द वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग इज गोइंग टू बी कंपैशन। हाउ कंपैशनेट यू आर फॉर द पीपल अराउंड यू, हाउ इनटू यू आर विद द प्लैनेट वेयर यू आर लिविंग। आई थिंक अगर हम हर चीज़ को अपना समझने लगेंगे तो डिफरेंस खुद ही आने लगेगा। प्रॉब्लम यही है आज के लोगों में सर कि लोग दे डोंट थिंक कि ये मेरा है, राइट? तो वो एक पर्सनालिटी में शो होता है। आपने खाया वहीं कूड़ा फेंक दिया, आपने किसी से कुछ गलती हो गई, आपने चीख दिया, गाली दे दी। दैट इज हैपनिंग एवरीवेयर। आई लुक एट द न्यूज एंड आई लुक एट द टेलीविजन चैनल्स हु आर टेलीकास्टिंग ऑल दोज न्यूज, एवरीवेयर द सेम थिंग इज हैपनिंग। हम अपने प्लैनेट को अपना नहीं समझते, उसके लोगों को अपना नहीं समझते, अपनी कंट्री को और फिर आसपास के लोगों को भी अपना नहीं समझते, इसीलिए वही चीज सामने आती है। So I think if you have compassion, if you are kind, if you are on the top of the world but still down to earth, that is going to make a person जिसको लोग याद रखेंगे आज तक।
फैक्टर वो कहते हैं कि आसमां की बुलंदियों को तो मैं छू रहा हूँ पर मेरे कदम अभी भी जमीन पर हैं।
क्या बात है, यही हम सबको समझने की जरूरत है।
That's an interesting thing that you have told. Okay, now coming to the next point, there are so many students. For example, I get so many UPSC aspirants, like they come for their personality development and testing. So I see that they are very studious, they are very serious face. मतलब फाड़ देंगे वो वाली बात रहती है ना। तो बड़ा आई समटाइम्स आई फील लाइक अरे यार थोड़ा काम चिल, हाँ थोड़ा काम करो। फिर वो कहते नो सर एक्चुअली आई डोंट हैव टाइम एंड दिस एंड दैट। सो आई से दैट डोंट प्रेशराइज योरसेल्फ दैट मच बिकॉज योर पर्सनैलिटी डज नॉट कम आउट, राइट? इट इज एक्चुअली समवेयर सप्रेस्ड।
बिल्कुल।
सो व्हाट इज योर मैसेज फॉर दोज स्टूडेंट्स हु आर लाइक क्लोज इन द रूम एंड डूइंग स्टडी और फिर उनकी पर्सनैलिटी लास्ट में आते आते डल हो जाती है, फिर उनको कोई ना कोई कोचिंग और हम जैसे
ज्वाइन करने पड़ते हैं। हाँ, अच्छा क्या ये बच्चे इंटरव्यू क्वालिफाई कर लेते हैं?
नहीं कर पाते ना। दिस इज टफ।
या दिस इज टफ। उन बच्चों को मुझे पहली बात तो यूपीएससी करना है, कुछ भी जो भी लाइफ, आई वुड नॉट से जस्ट यूपीएससी, कुछ भी लाइफ में करना है भाई, बहुत अच्छी बात है, बट इतना अपने आप को परेशान मत करो कि आप जो कर रहे हो वो रहे ही ना कहीं पे भी। आप सही कह रहे हैं कि वो पर्सनालिटी सप्रेस हो जाती है क्योंकि हम और कुछ तो कर ही नहीं रहे, हमने रूम में बंद कर लिया, वी आर ओनली फोकस ऑन आवर स्टडीज। आप देख लेना वो बच्चे वो स्टडीज में भी 100% नहीं दे पाएंगे क्योंकि माइंड तो बॉगल्ड है ना। आपने क्या किया, पूरा टाइम आपने एक रूम में बंद होकर वेस्ट कर दिया, दैट इज नॉट गोना हेल्प। सो आई थिंक फॉर दिस मेक अ टाइम टेबल, डिविजन योर टाइम अकॉर्डिंगली कि भाई इतने आवर्स आई हैव टू गिव टू माई स्टडीज, गिव इट, very good, but then take out time for yourself.
Right.
Go have fun, go to the parties, go on the beach, go on the mountains, it's all okay. But जो मेरा एक गोल है मुझे उससे हटना नहीं। तो लो with friends कोई भी, that is my
the favorite spot to travel.
Many are there, but the reason I think the Rishikesh is one place I really like.
That's very big.
That's very peaceful.
5 times.
Yeah, I like going there, and there are other places also where I just go. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि काम रुक गया, ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरा बहुत सारा पढ़ाई रुक गया, कुछ भी नहीं है। आप जाओ 2-3 दिन चिल करके आओ भाई, और उसके बाद वापस आओ, ज्यादा मेहनत कर पाओगे।
बिल्कुल।
तो ये होना जरूरी है। आप एक रूम में बंद रह करके 100% नहीं अचीव कर सकते, ना दे सकते हो अपनी पढ़ाई को। तो आई थिंक आपको यू नीड टू हैव फ्रेंड्स, यू नीड टू हैव exposure, you need to have experiences, and then only you can be somebody who is a good fit for that kind of a
That's one of the favorite things I could say, like traveling, that's very important. Pack your bag and go, right? Like your bag and go, right? Rishikesh is also one of my favorite places because I've seen so many times that Ganga Aarti and all, and sitting there cooling myself and seeing observing the river flow. So that's very nice. Ajay, now I'm coming to the very important point for especially Delhi, Mumbai wale parents, because what do they do with their kids and children? Like they are very packed and they make their children very packed. Like, you have to come at this time from the school, then exact this moment you have to go for the tuition, exact this moment you have to come and go for this tuition. They are like Hitlers. Right, and so matlab, they are very rigid parents, and they are being very tough. So sometimes I see कि students go into the stress, anxiety and depressions of their parents don't understand and their personality is like dull. तो हम तो दिल्ली में बैठे हैं जी, तो वी आर रिसीविंग सो मेनी स्टूडेंट्स, फिर हम पेरेंट्स को जब पेरेंटिंग सिखाते हैं तो दे आर लाइक अब तो बच्चा हाथ से छूट गया.
नहीं,
तो
पेरेंट्स ये भी कहते होंगे कि you nobody don't teach me, I know how to be.
sometimes they say, and sometimes they also accept, because I have so many styles of testing them.
Yeah.
So I test them and I find that कहीं ना कहीं parents की fault थी.
बिल्कुल.
So I blame them. And now, what is your message for those parents? Like, how to do a right parenting so that their kids can be developed in a personality way, in life way, and communication way, and all aspects, please.
Okay, not just the Delhi Mumbai parents, I would rather say most of the parents are like that. तो बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स हैं जिनको देखा, और जब आपने बोला ना कि बच्चे की पर्सनालिटी खराब होती गई वो सेल्फ डाउट में आया. सेल्फ डाउट में आने के बाद वो डिप्रेशन, एंड देन इट कॉजेस सुसाइड्स आल्सो एंड सुसाइडल टेंडेंसीज आल्सो, एंड देन वी एज पीपल हु आर इन क्लोज कनेक्शन विद दैट स्टूडेंट वी आर नॉट एबल टू डू एनीथिंग एट द लास्ट मोमेंट.
Right.
तो फॉर दोज पेरेंट्स आई बिलीव इंसान बच्चे को हर जगह इन्वॉल्व करने के बजाय पहली बात तो पेरेंट्स शुड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट माय किड इज गुड एट, व्हाट डज ही और शी वांट टू एक्चुअली डू. ये है इम्पोर्टेंट.
As your father understood.
Yeah, he understood, but he had also made me, to be involved in various things. I am a national level badminton player as well.
Wow.
I danced till state level. So I sang a song just before the podcast. So I am into everything. So my parents understood कि rather than making her a good player or rather than making her somebody who is a good trainer, make her a good individual. तो जब हम वो सोचने लगते हैं तो हम बहुत ज्यादा बच्चे को सप्रेस नहीं करते हैं चीजों में, उस पर अपनी चीजें नहीं थोपते, और सबसे पहले पेरेंट्स को अपने थॉट प्रोसेसेस, अपनी चीजें जो वो खुद नहीं कर पाए वो बच्चों पे वो करना सप्रेस कर इम्पोज करना बंद करना पड़ेगा.
Right.
ये एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. आवर पेरेंट्स दे वांट कि मैं ये नहीं कर पाया, मेरा बच्चा ये करे. अरे क्यों करेगा? उसका अपना पर्सनालिटी है, उसकी अपनी थॉट प्रोसेस है, उसकी अपनी लाइफ है. मुझे लगता है ये चीज हम पेरेंट्स को समझनी पड़ेगी एज इंडिविजुअल्स, as parents, that okay, the bacha should not go on a wrong way, the bacha should not be an asterisk, but as long he is doing good, as long he is achieving 70-80% also, भाई नहीं आ रहे 90% नहीं है तो कोई बात नहीं ना, 70 आ रहे हैं, 75 आ रहे हैं, 80 आ रहे हैं, उतने में भी वो अच्छा कमा लेगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, क्योंकि मनी डजंट हैव टू,
जैसा ना कर रहे हैं.
या मनी डजंट हैव टू डू एनीथिंग विद एजुकेशन. आप 90% वाले को ये सोच लो कि उसका बहुत बड़ा पैकेज लग रहा है, नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट. 70% वाले का भी लग सकता है, उसकी पर्सनालिटी अच्छी है, द पर्सन नोज व्हाट टू डू, व्हाट द राइट वे इज,
Exactly.
वो हो जाएगा, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है.
Exactly. हम एक
So,
चप्पल ले रहे हैं.
अच्छा, okay. Yeah, we started like that, but
Right. You got 90 plus.
No, I think I got 84 in my 12th
Wow.
and 81 in my 10th,
Okay, so
along with my sports.
okay, I failed once in class 12.
See, 3 and we are here addressing you all, so that doesn't matter. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, as long as your life is good, as long as you are having a good life where you are happy, you are content, and you're doing well in your career. I would never say keep your career on the last. It has to be something on the first, but before that आप ऐसे इंडिविजुअल तो हो कि अपना करियर कैरी कर सको, उसका बोझ कैरी कर सको.
Fact.
आपकी हेल्थ अच्छी नहीं है, आप खुश नहीं हो, आप परेशान हो, और फिर करियर कैसे बनेगा? नहीं बन सकता.
Okay, now coming to one more point, that is actually there are so many girls who want to be a cabin crew, air hostess, like, and there are so many also girls like who want to go into the modeling industry or acting industry. How do you define personality development and grooming for them? What should they focus more? Sometimes, like, trainers, coaches, institutions teach them that you groom yourself first. You have to walk in this way, catwalk, ramp walk and all. And sometimes, like, we people focus in the development part more. So what is your take on this and how do you like to explain them?
I would go with our path more. Like those who are saying कि ऐसे चल के दिखाओ, भाई वो बंदा चल के वैसे चलेगा तब जब उसको अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस है, right? You can bring a girl who is very well dressed, high heels, everything, but if the girl is not confident from inside, she will not be able to walk the way the person wants to walk. So I think working on the inside is the first thing that we need to do, and then coming up to grooming is important. Grooming is what? You already are on A, I want to take you to B, C, D and higher levels. So for that A, to achieve that first level of betterment, I think वो अंदर से आता है. So if you are working on the internal personality and the traits, and then you bring out the grooming, then it is going to be a better way. पहले grooming कर दो कि नहीं ऐसे कपड़े नहीं, this and that. I think that is not going to make any sense. Work on the inside first, look, and then the person will automatically be a sparkling.
What are the disorders of personality? Like, what do you think? Like, this is disordered personality, or this is out of actually, you know, a developed personality. क्या ऐसी चीज है, हरकतें क्या है वो?
Again, सबके लिए अलग अलग हो सकते हैं. मुझे लगता है बहुत ही ज्यादा वो होना, जैसे कि टाइम टेबल के हिसाब से सब चीजें करना, एक डिसऑर्डर. कौन किसको डिसऑर्डर नहीं है? मैं खुद को भी मानती हूँ. एवरी वन ऑफ अस इज हैविंग काइंड ऑफ some or the other disorder. That may be a disorder for you, but that might not be a disorder for me.
Fact.
Right? But as long as that disorder is not hampering your overall growth, it's okay. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि आप बहुत ज्यादा बोलते हैं, it is a disorder, that can be. अगर आपको लगता है कि आप हर चीज सिस्टमैटिकली करना चाहते हैं, that can be a disorder. As long as it is not impacting you and the people around you,
Right.
I think it's okay. क्योंकि आज की डेट में ऐसा मुझे नहीं लगता, I can't even name one single person जिसको मैं कहूँ कि ये बंदा बिल्कुल disorder नहीं है. Everybody has something.
I have a bad habit. I go home. When I change my cloth, I just throw it. So all my
That will not be good for your wife if you will be married, and for the mother also. The girls, they are very, you know,
clean or
they are cleanliness oriented. They want things to be on track. So I face sometimes that issue with my brother as well. If he comes and he takes off his shirt and yeah, pick it. No, don't do that. Put it back.
so that disorder. But that's not hampering me, no? I feel cool.
I think that is a habit. That's not a disorder. Yeah, not a disorder. It's not a disorder. I would not name it as that can be a disorder if it is impacting you and if it is leading you to depression.
Do you have?
Overthinking, I used to have. I have really worked hard on it. Now I don't have.
What?
I used to have an overthinking. This mind used to overthink a lot. कोई भी थोड़ी सी दिक्कत हो गई, बाप रे अब क्या होगा, ये क्या होगा, मतलब वो होना नहीं है, बट मैंने इतना लंबी लिस्ट बना लिया कि ऐसे ऐसे होगा और डेथ खत्म हो गया. ऐसे नहीं है. तो जब धीरे धीरे चीजें मैंने समझी लाइफ में, तो एज इज समथिंग दैट टीचेस यू अ लॉट. सो व्हेन यू हैव एक्सपीरियंसेस, जब आप समझते हैं कि कुछ हुआ तो नहीं ना, ठीक है, इट्स ऑल ओके, तो आप ओवरथिंक करना बंद करते हो. एंड ओवरथिंकिंग इज समथिंग दैट इज रूइनिंग way too many people's life. It is something that is ruining students, kids, everybody. And all of us have this problem of overthinking. I would not say all of us, but most of us, right? So I have been through that phase. I was an overthinker. I used to be sleepless all nights. I used to think of क्या होने वाला है आगे, and nothing happened. Here I am addressing all of you, happy. So nothing happens.
So what's your message for those people? I think, you know, as you said, most of us. So most of us या most of them के लिए, what is your message? कि relax यार, life is easy.
See, I think present is the thing that you need to be worried about. Past हो गया, कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Future पता भी नहीं है होगा कि नहीं.
Right.
अभी मुझे ये भी नहीं पता, like we don't know what is going to happen the next minute. Yesterday, a few days back, I had no idea I'm going to be sitting here in Happiness Institute and you know, having a podcast with you. I had no idea about it. So life, guys, is full of adventures. It's full of new surprises and it's magical. Let it be like that. When you start overthinking, आप attract करते हैं वो सारी चीजें जो आपने सोच ली. So stop doing that. It's way too good. You know, everything is colorful and happy. Let it be. And overthinking करना बंद करो. And लग रहा है कि अगर हो रही है, involve yourself in different things. In between, I went for the guitar classes also because I know that is going to help me.
So do you know how to play?
And I don't know. I am not proficient. I know there is a guitar. Like, don't bring it on. I know.
I'll give it.
You know, so I'm not proficient at it. But क्योंकि वो overthinking को कब करना तो मैंने join किया था. कुछ भी करो भाई. Work on your personality, do things that are going to make you happy, but overthinking मत करो, क्योंकि जितना हम सोचते हैं वैसा कुछ नहीं होता है. Plans are already made and you're going to go there and rock. So stop overthinking.
Great. Cool. Okay, and the last I want, like, you know, so being a girl, like, you are very empowered girl, and I'm so happy because especially, you know, since when I have become mature, I love to encourage girls. It's my inner spirit or inner feeling. So I want that through a strong girl, there should be message for weak girls who want to be strong. So for the women empowerment, ladies empowerment, please, any message?
Okay, for the women empowerment, the very first thing, be proud of being a woman. The first thing is that. When you are proud of who you are, you'll make others proud of yourself. So I think the first thing is be proud of who you are. And अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं बहुत सारी भाई देखो, being a woman doesn't mean you're going to stay indoors. Go learn driving, go learn swimming, go mountaineering, go do whatever the hell you want to do, but have a charismatic personality, have a charismatic what do we say, demeanor, and your what do I want to say?
That women style or women spirit, that
I think the things that you carry on the inside, they should be beautiful.
right.
And I think don't do anything that is going to question mark on who you are, right? Being a woman, maintain who you are, maintain your demeanor, be somebody who is good at everything. Jo man mein aaye karo jao, but be in the limit that would make you a strong woman. There should be no question mark on your personality. कोई ऐसा नहीं कह रहे ये ऐसी है, no. दे भाई लोगों का काम है कहना, वो कहते रहेंगे, okay, but आप जब तक खुद के साथ आंखें मिला पा रहे हो आईने में खड़े होके, that means you are good to go. So I think that is my message. Be proud of who you are and work on yourselves and don't stop.
That's a very good thing. That's a very good thing. हर रोज आईने में अपने चेहरे को देखिए और प्राउड फील करिए।
Proud feel करिए।
एक औरत है, आप एक लड़की है।
बिल्कुल।
That's a very important thing, you know.
और कुछ भी ऐसा मत करिए कि एक दिन आप उस आईने में देख के सोचे कि ये मुझसे गलत हो गया. Don't do that. If you are able to, look in your eyes and talk to yourself, yeah, I am somebody who is, a good person. It's absolutely okay.
That's a very important thing. Anything you would like to say or share, or anything you would like to speak?
I'm very honored, happy to be here. And I am so happy that I got a platform to talk so much and to convey whatever I wanted to the people out there. And nothing much. Don't overthink. Just be happy, be energetic, learn as much as you can, and don't make full stops in your life. I think there is no period. It is always going on, and you can learn as many things as you want. So just be happy. But life is adventurous, magical, full of experiences. Let it be like that.
Fantastic. Single podcast, multiple learnings, right? Even I have also learned a lot today, and it was a fantastic podcast with Isha Grewal ma'am. She has shared a lot of, insightful thoughts and amazing tips and tricks. Exactly. I think we all should implement, we all should learn, we all should execute in our lives, and we should grow together. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone.